All praise to the most high creator of our universe and our sustainer. Thank you for another opportunity to embrace grace and mercy. Thank all of you for your good works that you do throughout the communities of the world. Thank you for your presence today and always. Thank you for your prayers, your kind words, and your considerate thoughts. I have been podcasting on YouTube for 5 years about various subject matter, but none of the subjects burden me more than trying to help the poor, at least advocate for the poor. I don't have the money to give, but at least I try and advocate for the poor, especially those who are poor in the church. And also, I have been passionately trying to find the truth that I need to get better as a person, as a man, as a son, as a grandson, as a nephew, as a husband, as an uncle, as a father, as a student, as a neighbor, as a friend, as an enemy, and or as a disciple. Excuse me. I was on Facebook earlier and in the week, I think yesterday, and I was trying to create a post about my YouTube live stream. And as I was about to post my post, I received a prompt from Facebook about creating a Facebook event, a feed of my live stream here on YouTube. So I said, sure, I'd like to try that. I hope it works. And I hope that none of you are offended by me inviting you, because many of you don't know me. And to be honest, I just simply clicked on all of my Facebook friends. However, if any of you are offended and do not want to be a part of my Church Talk Unlimited podcast, and you don't want to be invited again, please email me at theoriginalchurchtalk@gmail.com. Again, if you do not want to be invited to any of my Church Talk Unlimited podcasts, please email me at theoriginalchurchtalk. Good evening. Thank you for being here at gmail.com. Theoriginalchurchtalk@gmail.com. I am really having trouble with my vision today, and I am getting ready, God willing, February 24th to have surgery for glaucoma and cataracts. So hopefully this is going to be corrected. Hello, it is Saturday, January 31st, 2026, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Welcome to Church Talk Unlimited with James Paul Berry. Today we're going to talk briefly about the subject, the Jesus you know. The Jesus you know. And we are getting our context from the biblical text of Matthew chapter 16, verses 13 through 16. Now, I'm not trying to save anybody. I'm not trying to correct anybody. I'm trying to have a talk because I believe one of our biggest problems across the universe is that we don't talk to each other enough. We don't communicate with each other enough. And because of that, we misunderstand each other a lot of times. Matthew 16, verses 13 through 16. When Jesus came to the region, and I'm reading from the New International Version of the Bible. When Jesus came to the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say the Son of Man is?" Verse 14, they replied, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others, Jeremiah or one of the prophets." "But what about you?" he asked. "Who do you say I am?" Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." The King James Version says, Peter said, "You are the Christ, or thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God." After I put this together, I thought perhaps maybe "Who do you say I am" would have been a better subject. But anyway, for the meantime, we just want to talk about the Jesus you know. Peter said, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." Some said that the others said that you were John the Baptist or Elijah or Jeremiah or one of the prophets. Like the disciples of Jesus Christ and the people that they preach to, I think we have varied ideas about the Jesus that we know. I also believe that most of us who believe in Jesus believe in the Jesus of the Bible. Now, I have heard that during the time, supposedly, of Jesus the Bible, that there were many messiahs in nearby regions, but I'm not believing in that Jesus. I'm believing in the Jesus of the Bible. And I believe that is the Jesus that you know. The Jesus that I know, as I said, is in the Bible and in my head. I don't have any proof. I don't get any personal visits from Jesus. I don't see any wheels in the middle of the wheel. I just believe the things that I read, particularly the principles of Jesus. The Jesus I know has never performed a miracle in front of me, but performs miracles on me and in me all the time. In the book of John, chapter 8, verse 31 and 32, then Jesus said unto those Jews that believed on him, "If you continue in my word," the Jesus you know. Does the Jesus you know have a word? Have you received a word from the Jesus that you know? I have, but as I said, it came from the Bible. Jesus said to those that believed on him or in him, "If you continue in my word." Don't worry about Paul Berry's word or anybody else's word, continue in my word, then when you continue in my word, at some point, Jesus said, you are my disciple indeed. You're not just a disciple because I say I'm a disciple. I'm not a disciple just because I go to church every week or every Sunday and I go to Bible classes and I study my Bible, but because I continue in the word of Jesus. Then I become a disciple indeed. And he says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. The Jesus you know. Does the Jesus you know agree with what has been said by the Jesus of the Bible? Does the Jesus you know open up your understanding to the truth? Does the Jesus you know make you free? Are you free? Do you have truth from the Jesus you know? John 10:10, Jesus is talking, and he was talking about he was the good shepherd of the sheep, and how the sheep, because of him, would be able to go in and out and find pasture. And I take that to mean that the shepherd would watch over the sheep, those who believe in the shepherd, and the shepherd would provide protection, and the providence of God would be over the lives of these sheep. But Jesus said in verse 10 of John 10, there's another person, there's another entity involved with us, and he says that's the thief. And he said, the thief cometh but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. Jesus says, I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. The Jesus you know. Does the Jesus you know bring life and life more abundantly? I have been questioning this verse for many years. I know it's not only material things, tangible things. What is an abundant life? Abundance to me means abounding, means plenteous. Through the Jesus you know, do you possess this abundant life? If not, why not? Now, this is just a conversation, so don't lose your religion. Don't quit what you're doing. Just think about it. And if you'd like to say something to me, email me or leave it in the chat. I have a live chat going on right now. And hopefully those of you who may be watching on Facebook, you'll be able to follow the stream. You'll be able to follow the link. And if you're interested, you may be able to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. But with the Jesus you know, do you possess abundant life? I'm an old man now, and I'm thankful that I have lived to become an old man. But I know there's more to the Jesus that I know than listening to someone tell me about the Jesus I know. The Jesus I know teaches me through principles of the New Testament of the Bible that I need to have my own knowledge, my own understanding. Do you possess this abundant life? If not, why not? That's another one of my questions that I've had a long time. Why does a child of God suffer as if they are not a child of God? Based off of what I have read about the Jesus that I know. John 14, verses 13 and 14, Jesus said, and whatsoever, he's talking to his disciples, those who believed in him, and whatsoever you ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If you shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. I've asked for a lot of things, and a lot of things haven't been done, and I think it's because the Jesus I know and the Jesus you know has given us the power to do these things. And as I said earlier, two of my main passions on this podcast is trying to find out the truth about how I should live and how to help those that are poor, especially those that are poor in the church. The Jesus that I know and the Jesus that you know, I believe from the Bible, even though Jesus told Judas Iscariot, you will have the poor with you always, it is not to be taken as an excuse not to help the poor, because we'll never be able to stop helping the poor, but as a reason to be ready to help the poor, because Jesus said the poor, the Jesus that I know, said that you will always have poor people. I want the church to use the Jesus that I know to reform itself, to pay more attention to the principles that the Jesus I know taught. See, the Jesus I know said, upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades shall not prevail against it. The Jesus I know wants us to behave in a way that the Father will be glorified through him. He says, if you will ask anything in my name by my authority, if you ask anything, I will do it. Understanding, though, that sometimes some of the things that we ask for, we can't handle at the time. And Paul says, all things work together for the good of them that love God. The Jesus you know, I hope, is the Jesus that you need, the Jesus that the Bible says will set you free, will make you free, not based off of that name or some name that some scholar or some theologian has given, but because of the principles of life that you and I try to follow, we try to apply in how we treat ourselves, how we treat nature and science, and I think that captures everybody and everything with respect. Until next time, I wish you all that you need. Hello. Nice to see you all. It's cold down there, huh? It gets cold out here when the sun sets, but not like what you all have going on. But anyway, thank you all for being here. God bless you.